Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Ty back here with another video. In this video today, we are going to be doing a 100k MT squad builder. So if you have 100,000 MT lying around, what is the best squad that you can build? But before we do that, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, please smash that subscribe button as we are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So really, this is for all the no money spent budget ballers out there, and hey, I'm there on my no money spent account as well. So at the starting point guard position, it really should be no surprise to you guys who we're going with. Now, is it important to get the evoed up Jarrett Jack? I don't think it's as important as another guy you guys are going to see in this video. But if you at the end of this have a little extra and you want to get the evoed up Jarrett Jack, definitely do that. But it's not hard to evo him. In just a few games, you can do the evo yourself. And so that's why I'm not super passionate about getting the evoed up Jarrett Jack. But what he gives you is kind of a mini version of Dwayne Wade and kind of his release and what he brings to the table. Absolutely green, man, even with a mid-80s 3-ball. That's why I'm saying the evo isn't really required. Definitely is nice to have, though, once you do get him evoed up, which I should have him evoed on my no money spent account in no time. Decent enough on the defensive end, can create his own shot and just very smooth release. At the shooting guard position, we're gonna go with his great mate, another evo player in Ronnie Brewer. Now, if you can get the amethyst Ronnie Brewer, that is what I would suggest. I don't think evoing up Ronnie Brewer is really worth it when you can find an evoed up one for right around that 10k MT price range. I'm telling you guys, these two in the backcourt this is what I'm running on my no money spent account, and I haven't lost a game and I'm having a lot of success with these two running together. Ronnie Brewer's got a smooth release, has Hall of Fame clamps, great lateral quickness, is 6'7". There's just a ton to love about the Ronnie Brewer. Again, make sure to try to get one that is evoed up to that amethyst tier, because once he gets there, he is absolutely incredible. So with Jarrett Jack and Ronnie Brewer, we got a backcourt made up of less than 20k MT. It's less than 15 realistically if you don't get the evoed up Jarrett Jack. So to go along with those guys, we are going to add another guy who is kind of a new player, right? All the Inferno budget ballers is who we're starting this kind of 100k MT squad builder with. Now, the thing about Michael Porter Jr. is he's 6'10", he's got range extender, got a pretty smooth release. Defensively, he's not that bad. I know he gets a lot of hate because he doesn't have clamps, which, yes, that is a downside to the card, but he makes up for it with his size, with his speed, with his versatility. Again, another card that I'm using on my no money spent account and I'm having success with. Now, the one thing about him that I'm kind of hesitant about and I'm unsure about is the fact that I'm not sure he gets Showtime dunks, and for me, that's a big red flag. But just what he gives you in his versatility, length, his defense, like I personally like his defense even without clamps. He is very complete, and for an amethyst, he is very solid. An evoed up Jarrett Jack, Ronnie Brewer, as well as MPJ, they're gonna hold their own for budget squads. At the power forward position, we're gonna go with a guy that has been on my no money spent account a long time, and at first I was hesitant. Is he better than Jonathan Isaac? But the more I use Spicy P, the more I like him. Like, the more I use him, the more I fall in love with him. The only thing he's not great at is rebounding. I don't think he's a great rebounder, but other than that, he's gonna hold it down on the interior. I can't say I green a lot with the card because I really don't. Last year I loved his release and was super green with him. This year I really don't, but I mean, he still knocks down a large percentage of the shots you take with him if he's wide open. He has an incredible amount of badges. I don't know the exact amount. I want to say 38 off rip, but that could be wrong. I just love the card. He is probably going to be on my no money spent account for a little bit longer just because of how much I've grown to love the card. Again, we're going to spend up later on in this video, but Pascal Siakam's 5k, MPJ's just over that 1k, Jarrett Jack, Ronnie Brewer cheap as well. So far, we're really balling on a budget. We'll splurge here when we get into our backups here. Now, I might move some pieces around, but Pascal Siakam is another addition that I love to this 100k squad builder. At the center position, you guys could have already probably guessed it. It's no question about it. I promise you, the more I use Amethyst Sean Kemp, the more I love the card. There's so much to like about him. He holds his own on defense, on the interior, on the offensive end. Yes, his shooting it's not great, but you can knock down open threes with him at a decent enough rate. Like, if somebody leaves him completely wide open, I'm going to take the shot and green a decent amount of them, but that's not the best thing. He's a point center with Hall of Fame Showtime. I promise you, this card doesn't get talked about enough, when in reality, he's very solid. So, I mean, my starting lineup, you can build this lineup for 15k MT. You really, truly can. Depending on Ronnie Brewer's price, maybe 20k. But the thing is, very budget starting lineup. my bench unit is going to be where the majority of my MT is at. But I'm telling you, with this starting lineup, I'm confident going into maybe not a competitive game, but in an unlimited type setting with these guys. At my backup point guard, we're going to go with another very good budget option in Tony Roten. On current gen, you can debate that Tony Roten is better than Jarrett Jack. You truly can, and I'm not going to argue with you. Jarrett Jack brings that more kind of a 3 hunting presence, whereas Tony Roten is 6'6", probably better on the defensive end. With Showtime, he gives you a little bit of something as well. Both of those guys are very, very solid. Again, we're gonna spend some MT later on, but there's no reason to spend, 10k MT on average types of guys when Tony Roten is very, very solid for 1-2k. Jarrett Jack's very, very solid for 1-2k. So there's no reason to spend up 5, 6, 7,000 on these a little bit better, not even better, a little bit just more expensive budget point guards such as like an Amethyst Lonzo Ball, when Tony Roten is obviously better than him and cheaper than him in his own right. So that is my backup point guard right there in Tony Roten. At the backup shooting guard, this is where we are going to spend up an MT 40k worth in Rudy Fernandez, and yes, we're going to move him to that starting shooting guard position. I wanted to save him a little bit later on in the video so you guys could see kind of me building my squad without spending that much MT. Kind of similar to my 1 million MT squad builder, I think spending a lot of it in one kind of area is very, very valid and very important to do so, especially in Rudy Fernandez. He's got 8 Hall of Fame badges, Hall of Fame Showtime, quick first step, a great release, has range extender, very good on the defensive end. The list goes on and on for Rudy Fernandez. I could build just an all-around budget squad, and Rudy Fernandez is part of that. But he's a guy for my no money spend account, for example, that I've thought about picking up because he is that elite and that worth the MT that he goes for. So adding him to the squad, yes, we are going to move him into that starting lineup, and Ronnie Brewer is going to get demoted to the bench. At the small forward position, another guy in kind of that cheap under 3k price range in Amethyst, Jarrod Wallace. Now, I wouldn't say I'm as high on Jarrod Wallace with a lot of these guys on this squad, but he's a type of 3-and-D player that you know what you're getting. You know he's going to play for you and just hold it down. He might not be the best player on the court, but he's a player in which you're not going to be like, why? What is he doing on my court? Because he's going to knock down open shots, going to defend at a high rate, and he can attack the rim with decent efficiency. So kind of similar to Ronnie Brewer in what he gives you. I think Ronnie Brewer obviously is that little bit better when he is evoed up, but Jarrod Wallace is slept on quite a bit. He's not talked about, whereas last year I think his diamond was talked about a lot. This Amethyst isn't talked about as nearly as much as it should be for how truly good he is. A lot of the 3-and-D guys are the budget guys, and that's all that they need to do. Jarrod Wallace, Ronnie Brewer, as long as they can stand there and knock down open shots, I don't need anything else from them. At the power forward position, I know I get repetitive when talking about guys that you're just not gonna really notice, but that's Xavier McDaniel, right? He's kind of similar into a Jarrod Wallace. They're gonna knock down open shots, and a lot of these guys are guys I liked in past years. You look at Jarrod Wallace, I liked his card last year. You look at Spicy P, another card I liked last year, and Xavier McDaniel. If you think back to last year, the first evoed up Pink Diamond Xavier McDaniel, he was very, very solid. Now, I wouldn't say a lot of these guys are to that elite level, but they are good enough to hold it down. They're good enough for that, under 5k price range to play a good role for your squad. And so throw Xavier McDaniel in this squad as well, just as a guy that you're not really going to notice. Now, if you want to kind of balance out these squads, yes, you might want to move Michael Porter Jr. to the bench to give you a little bit more scoring. So that's something I'm going to do, is just move some pieces around to try to help fit this squad together just that little bit better. The last spot to fill, we do have a little extra MT because Jarrett Jack's cheap, Fernandez obviously is expensive, but if you look at this squad, we got 2 guys over 10k, Rudy Fernandez and Ronnie Brewer. The rest of these guys are honestly under that 5k price range, and so at the end of it, we have a little extra MT to spend, and I'm comfortable with this card right here in Diamond Chris Bosh. And it's not just that I'm comfortable with him, he's knocked down in the pick and pop game. You run him with a guy like Tony Roten, who is a rim running point guard, you're going to have a lot of success with that kind of duo. So pairing those two together, as well as Jarrett Jack and Sean Kemp, I think is a very, very good kind of duos in their own right. So that's kind of why Bosh I don't have starting, and Jarrett Jack is my starting point guard with Sean Kemp. You look at how these teams mesh together, and my starting unit I feel like meshes pretty well together, as well as my bench unit. Now, 3 out of the 10 guys on this squad are from the new Inferno set. The more updated cards they drop, the better budget players we are going to continue to get. So a guy like Jarrod Wallace, Xavier McDaniel, those types of cards in 2 or 3 weeks, even Siakam, might not be on the best budget squad in the game. anymore, but for the time being, they are absolutely incredible. So that is going to be my 100k squad builder, guys. Comment yours down below. If you had 100k MT, who would you have on your squad? Who is a guy that you would spend the most MT on, and how much would he go for? For me, it's Rudy Fernandez for right around that 40k price range, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.